MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell just can't get anything right, can he? And a new report put together by one of his allies, a man by the name of Doug Gould, actually disproves the election theft talking points that Mike Lindell has been pushing since November of 2020. Gould, of course, as I said, is an ally of Mike Lindell. He's an ally of Tina Peters, the embattled former Mesa County election clerk that is now facing a pretty massive indictment for basically taking this information and, of course, giving it to Gould, who then put it together in this new report. But the report doesn't show any instances whatsoever of fraud. None. The report, however, does say that because of some unsecured software that was put into the, election systems, the digital systems, the databases and all of that, things could have happened, right? There were vulnerabilities. And so, some of the things that Mike Lindell says did happen, could have happened had people taken advantage of these vulnerabilities. Now, Gould did not set out to disprove Mike Lindell's talking points. In fact, in his report, he doesn't outright disprove them. In fact, he's trying to use the report to bolster them, but it really does, as I said, do the opposite. Because you don't say that any of it actually did happen. You just said that it could have happened if people had been aware of these vulnerabilities and, of course, knew how to take advantage of them. But they didn't. So, yay for election integrity, I guess, right? Because here's the thing. This report, and even the experts who looked at this report said this is literally nothing new. But I'll take you one further. It's not just stuff we all already knew. It's stuff we've literally known about for 20 years. Over at Ring of Fire, which began in late April, early May of the year 2004, one of the very first stories that we covered was about the vulnerabilities of voting machines here in the United States. And repeatedly, every single year since then, election year or not, we've talked about those vulnerabilities. There was a big computer conference a couple years ago here in the state of Florida where children as young as 11 years old were able to hack into the state's voting systems, change voter registration, drop people from the polls, do all kinds of things in a replica of Florida's online voting database. So we have known that these vulnerabilities exist. And over the years, we've tried to do something via Congress to bolster our election integrity here in the United States. But you know who blocked that for years and years and years up to the 2020 election? Yeah, that would be Mitch McConnell. Democrats, in fact, it was actually bipartisan legislation, proposed hundreds of millions of dollars to bolster election security here in the United States to effectively close down some of these vulnerabilities that this Gould report says still exist, because they do still exist. But they were not exploited, and Gould's report doesn't offer us any information to say that any of that happened. In fact, the audits that Mike Lindell and Tina Peters and Doug Gould have pushed have also proven that these vulnerabilities luckily were not exploited. Don't get me wrong. Things could have been bad, but they weren't. And now that we have this information that everybody's finally paying attention to, maybe we can use that to close these vulnerabilities, right? Close the security gaps. So that way we don't have to listen to fraudsters like Mike Lindell complain for the rest of our lives about election integrity, because maybe we'll actually do something about it. But in terms of Mike Lindell's claims about the 2020 election, they are still completely fraudulent. There is no evidence to back up anything he says, no matter how much he says he has that evidence waiting for us. It simply doesn't exist. And this report from one of his good friends helps to prove that. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel, We also encourage you to like, comment, and share. But again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.